All right, guys, we are back, and I wanted to do a quick post-fight reaction to the big fight last night in Las Vegas, Nevada. At the T-Mobile Arena, of course, Canelo Alvarez putting his 168-pound undisputed titles on the line against a very hungry lion, a very game opponent in Jaime Munguia. And I know some of you guys did not want this fight. I know what you guys wanted. You wanted Canelo versus David Benavidez. You wanted Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford. I get it. Those are the fights that I wanted to see too. But honestly, I didn't have a problem with this fight. And it was because I know, Jaime Munguia, he's not going to lay down. He's going to come to fight. And that's what happened. It was a very entertaining fight. And first of all, let me congratulate Canelo Alvarez for his win. He won by unanimous decision, improving his record to 61-2 last night. Now, the fight itself. Let me talk about Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia, I knew he would have those new wrinkles added to his arsenal, and we saw it early in the fight. I talked about this before where, when he fought John Ryder, we saw some different looks there, and we have to attribute that to his trainer in Freddie Roach. And, he used those new attributes early on in the fight. Last night, we saw him working behind the jab. He was going upstairs and downstairs on Canelo with the jab, keeping his distance, setting up the right hand behind it, up on his toes. And I think, if he could have done that throughout the fight, the outcome may have been different. But, he wasn't able to do that. I think that, once he got dropped, because he was dropped in the fourth round, I think it was a left hook from Canelo Alvarez. It seemed to let the wind out of his sail, and he seemed to kind of revert back to what, the typical Jaime Munguia that we see slugging it out. And, it just wasn't going to work for him against Canelo Alvarez. As hard as Jaime hits, Canelo Alvarez hits that much harder. And I saw a few things there, I didn't want to see Jaime Munguia do. First of all, he was overcommitting, and Canelo was able to capitalize with his effective counterpunching. Jaime wasn't able to slip those counters, and he paid every time he overcommitted. And just being in the pocket and slugging it out with Canelo Alvarez, I just think that was the wrong move. I think he should have stuck to working behind the jab and setting up the right hand that way and keeping his distance from Canelo Alvarez, staying up on his toes. I think he would have had more of a chance of winning if he would have used that, Dimitri Bivol type of, I would say, style in the fight. But it didn't work out for him. And let me not take anything from Canelo, because I thought Canelo looked pretty damn good in that fight last night. I think since he had the surgery on his wrist, he's been looking a lot better, in my opinion. We know he, doesn't waste punches. He has great punch placement. And we saw that he was throwing, a lot of combinations last night. I like that coming from Canelo. And the chin, we saw Jaime hit Canelo with some bombs, and, he still was there. He was trading back and forth, and, he has a solid chin. He's hard to beat. He's in that position for a reason. And it showed last night, his superiority over Jaime Munguia. So like I said, I congratulate him on his win last night. Now let's talk about the in-ring interview from Jim Gray. I saw, some cracks there coming from some Canelo Alvarez fans last night when Jim Gray asked him about David Benavidez fighting David, and he said the money had to be right. And he said something to the likes of, he can do what he wants to do. And the fans didn't appreciate that. They kind of booed Canelo Alvarez last night, which, kind of surprised me in a sense. But in one sense it didn't, because, a lot of fans have been calling for him to face David Benavidez. And, it's one of those things. It's not just the fans. It's a lot of his peers. And, being in a position like Canelo Alvarez, I said this before, I think, once you're in a position like that, it should be hard to stay in that position. And I don't think, there's a problem with Canelo Alvarez having fights where, people expect him to win. But every now and then you still have to challenge yourself. And that's, you know, my only gripe. I like Canelo, and that's why I'm so hard on him, because I think he's a brilliant fighter. I think he has a very high boxing IQ. I think, you know, he's always a game opponent, but, you know, you have to challenge yourself. And here's the thing, you know, as a boxing fan, as I would say a hardcore boxing fan, you know, I want to see fights where, you know, I want to pay for fights where I don't particularly know the outcome. You know, I may think I know it, but, you know, there's those butterflies in my stomach there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Butterflies in your stomach. You're sitting on the edge of your seat. You're biting, clenching on your nails because you really don't know what's going to happen. And we haven't really seen Canelo in that type of fight as of late. And David Benavidez is that guy. You know, he's the guy that's going to, I would say Canelo Alvarez is going to have to go to the next level on. And that's the fight that we want to see. You know, if not, you know, Terrence Bud Crawford. But Canelo Alvarez, you know, he has to believe that he can win that fight. I don't know if he believes that he can beat David Benavidez because, you know, he's made every excuse not to fight the guy. And I just don't get it. He says no one beats this Canelo. Well, you have to prove that. Get in there with the best competition that there is at 168, and we know that's David. Now, right now, David, of course, he's fighting at 175. He's fighting Alexander Vasek for the interim. I think it's the it might be the WBC interim if I'm not mistaken. We'll see about that. But I just think Canelo Alvarez needs that fight. I think he needs to fight David and put everything to rest. And, you know, put it all to rest. You know, win or lose, you know, people are going to respect him for it, in my opinion, win or lose. But we're hearing talks of possibly Edgar Berlanga next. And I just think if he fights Edgar Berlanga, his star is going to start to dim even more, guys. And, you know, as you know, a lot of people didn't really talk about this fight this week. You know, everyone was talking about the stuff with Ryan Garcia and Devin the Dream Haney, and it kind of shadowed over this fight. People weren't really excited about this fight like they were that fight. And I think that has to do with Canelo, you know, not fighting David Benavidez. But anyway, that is my opinion on that. Like I said, congratulations to Canelo. I don't want to rain on this parade, guys. I'm just saying what needs to be said as a boxing fan. Canelo, man, you got to fight David. But anyway, that is my opinion. I'm rambling on here. You guys let me know what you think about the fight last night in the comment section. Let me know what you think about, you know, who his next opponent should be. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.